good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, PM says PPBL should be upgraded to cruise port by end of next term. More New World screwworm cases detected. John Briceño says he expects this to be his last election. And Panton's UDP faction confident after naming Chang as mess-up standard bearer. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
This bill. Belize, we're ready.
Welcome back. With your news, I am Drea Espinosa. Accused that Port of Belize Limited PBL in Belize City is stagnating since the government's buyback in December 2023. Prime Minister John Briceño shared that moves are happening in the background to work out an investment deal so that the cargo facility can be upgraded and a cruise port added. He expects that the upgrade and expansion should have been completed by the end of another political term. Briceño shared that months ago, a proposal regarding PBBL was taken to cabinet for approval.
A is to do a cruise and container port, and B to be able to just the container port. And we saw the options, and cabinet felt that it's in the best interest to do both. And so we are working on a master plan to do that. The previous owners were working on a master plan, but of course, if they know they want to charge us an exorbitant amount of money if we want to take over that plan that they were working on. So it's best we're going to do our own. It's pushing us back a few months. There have been a number of companies that have expressed interest. MSC has expressed interest, Carnival has expressed interest, and other investors have expressed interest, but we're not going to do anything until we have, say, this is the plan, okay, who are they going to be the strategic investors? There are many people that come in and said, well, we would be interested, but we don't just want to jump at it, we need to have a plan, and then we're going to move forward. So I do believe that by the end of the next government, we should have a cruise port and a modern container port.
So does that mean State Bank is there?
That's not for me to decide.
But I'm saying that there's no sense in having two mega cruise ports in the Belize district within miles of each other.
But we all knew that State Bank was short-term or to medium-term investment. Why? Because A, the berthing facilities cannot take the big ships, and B, probably even more important, these cruise ships, they want to berth on land. They don't want to be, the tendering is a big issue. And so we knew that that was a temporary fix, and then eventually we have to build somewhere on the near shore.
2 more cases of New World screwworm were detected in San Pedro, Colombia in the Toledo district last week, prompting high officials from the Ministry of Agriculture to visit the affected areas. This brings our cases to 5. Today, Prime Minister John Briceño expressed his gratitude that a new protocol allows Belize to continue exporting cattle formerly to Mexico despite the new cases.
It is expected, it's expected. It's not something, we never bring the screwworm. It's a stupid mistake that was done in Panama when they released the insects that become, yes, it was not sterile, the ones that they released in error several years ago in Panama, and that's then started progressively coming to us, and I believe that they were not, I don't think they put enough effort to stop it back then, which could have, but now it's here. But we're trying our level best to control it as best as we possibly can. What's important is that we've already worked out a protocol with the Mexicans on how to export our cattle, because this is not something that, how could I put it, like spread because it affects the meat in the sense that we get kind of illness. What happens in this case is that if you see the animal with the screwworm, you cure it. Once you do 5 days later, 6 days later, it's a healthy animal. You can take it. So the plan is that we have a corral area where we inspect the animals in Belize, and then it's gone over to Mexico, to the Mexican side, and they inspect it. If they see any animal with any signs of screwworm, then they send it back to Belize and we cure it. And 5, 6 days later, we could send it back. That's the very same protocol that they've worked with the United States.
Tax returns from businesses are submitted every 15th of the month, and in this case, it was done on the 16th due to the George Price holiday. However, this morning, the Prime Minister told the media he had not yet learned just how much revenue the government lost from the 2 GST-free weekends in December 2024. He insists that there were benefits from the economic activity generated on those days.
I'm not getting numbers, but I believe that we did exceedingly well because, why do I say that? Because whilst we give up the GSC for those 2 weekends, people did not go to Chatham. People stayed here to buy, one. Secondly, it alerted us as to some of the people that are really paid the right GST, so we've been going after them and working on it. And thirdly, I think it gave us a sense of good feeling during the Christmas season. And so it was successful beyond what we expected, and we do believe that it is something that we're going to be doing in December this year.
But were you trying to buy off the electorate?
No, it has nothing to do.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Mr. Cynical, it has nothing to do with the elections. It's simply something that we believe its time has come. We could not have done it earlier because we were just trying to recover and to rebuild and to regain the confidence of our citizens and of the private sector. So now we felt when that idea came up, we said, you know what, it's not a bad idea, it's a good idea, and to be able to build on it. So if it was just election, we may do it last year, we may do it this year. But this is something that we believe we should do every year.
Are you afraid you would have lost more than you can afford?
Not really, because we felt that the economic movement, the movement of what it would generate. Remember, in economics, there's this thing that for every dollar you spend, that dollar moves around 4 to 5 times. So the generator of that dollar spending in Belize, we would be able to get it back with taxes in other areas.
The PM was asked if it was the government's intention to increase the hotel tax to offset the losses from the GST-free days and also the raising of the pay threshold for income tax.
Well, I do believe that the tourism industry needs to pay their fair share. We have invested tens of millions of dollars in the tourism industry, and we taxpayers have paid for it. When you put infrastructure development and the beach development and the marketing and just name it.
Right.
So now it's time now that this industry is being growing, and it's been growing fastest ever. We're the fastest growing region, Belize, the tourism in the region. And so now that we've done all of that investment, I think it's only fair for us to be able to get back some of that money, and that we can then give the relief to the people that need most, and is a lower middle class. We want to build more middle class. So we've been saying it all along that we want to reduce or to eventually, if we could find a way to eliminate the PAYE or remove it and just keep it in the higher upper brackets, $50,000-$70,000, that would be ideal for me.
As of right now, People's United Party leader John Briceño says this will likely be the last election he runs in. He says the plan is to then spend time with family. Briceño ran in 2 town council elections before running 7 times for central government starting in 1993. The upcoming general elections will make it his 8th. He was asked if he plans to run again.
If you were to ask me now today, I would tell you that probably quite likely it's going to be my last election. At least that's my plan, that's my hope, and even within my family. But it's important that once you get elected, in God willing, we win the election, that I don't want to be in a position where people are saying, oh, he left, so we start to plan and connive and whatever, and I find that unacceptable. I have to continue to manage the party and more importantly the government the way that I've done with a firm hand, and to continue to show that I have full command of the party and the government and the ministers, and that's important, or else we have waste time, they fight and only think about the party or the government. So I do plan to stay in and to finish my term, and then I'm hoping that then I can go and spend time with Celeste.
Briceño was asked if he intends to set in motion an orderly succession plan so as to avoid a chaos, the likes of which has the UDP in deep turmoil.
I disagree with you in the sense that what has happened to the UDP, they had a very small bench. after Dean Barrow, who really could have taken over the UDP? I mean, honestly, when you took a bit, with all respect with Mr. Faber, he did it more. I mean, and one of the most important things is financing, how you finance the operations of the party. I do believe that in the PUP is in a much better position. We have a deep bench, per se, if you want to say, from Francis Fonseca to Cordell Hyde, Anthony Mala, and Karim Musa. So
is that your top four?
I'm sorry, no, I'm just giving names right now. I'm not by any, as I remember, I'm giving the names.
Alphabetical.
But not even alphabetical. I mean, I'm just naming them. I mean, but when you look at somebody like Kevin Bernard, I'm very, very good. The chairman of the party, these are really good, strong people. Even Julius Espat, if he were to decide that it's something he want to do, we have a deep bench. So there's a lot from where to choose from, and but it's difficult for the party leader to say, okay, this is the one we want. It's for the party members, so they have to do their political work. Look, even within us, we had our problems. The then leadership of the party did not support me. You never thought I could have won, I mean, and I won in 1 week of campaigning. But it is why? Why? Because I did do my political work.
After the break, Senior Magistrate Deborah Rogers to be appointed Chief Magistrate. Stay with us. Tracy Panton's faction of the UDP held a press conference on Tuesday to introduce their standard bearer for Mesopotamia, Lee Mark Chang, proprietor of famed Chinese restaurant Chun San. During the press conference, Panton said they have refrained from naming candidates in constituencies where the UDP held conventions to choose standard bearers. However, she said Mesopotamia is different as they have identified Moses Shine Barrow as a, quote, problem for the party.
If the elections are announced before the trial date, there will be two sets of candidates claiming to represent the United Democratic Party. There'll be a group led by myself, along with the leadership team, who were endorsed at the October 20th convention, and there will be a group led by Shine, who was recalled by the same convention, who he has refused to respect. He simply refuses to respect the will of the delegates who attended that convention. Even though Shine has put up candidates against some of our standard bearers, our team has decided not to put any candidates against our colleagues because, like us, they are duly elected standard bearers. However, it is clear to us that the problem in this party is Shine Barrow. It is clear to us that it is he who is dismantling our democracy, and it is he who is the greatest threat to the success of our party in the upcoming elections and after the elections are over. The UDP can only rebuild after the general elections if Shine is not the leader of the party or not the leader of the opposition in the House. And he can be neither of those if he is not a member of the House.
Though late to the game with an election looming, Chang says he feels confident in mess up as he says UDP supporters in that constituency want to vote for the UDP, just not for Barrow.
My preparation coming here to mess up has been about almost a month now. I've been canvassing the ground, meeting some old friends, a couple of them right here where we used to go play ball and Asios. I remember back in the days, I used to be the only Chinese boy in this neighborhood. I believe the people of Mesopotamia want the seat to stay for the UDP, but they cannot support that individual.
Shine Barrow calling him.
Of course, Mr. Shine Barrow. So, my initial information, they feel that they want voting back for UDP, but they don't want him. That's right. So he lose his own division. And I'll make sure of that.
Panton believes that with Chang running in Mesopotamia, that leaves, quote, no hope for Barrow to win. If he loses, he would then be unable to contest for party leadership after the 2025 elections.
What I did say, that with this launch of Limar's candidacy, there will be no hope for Shine to be either the leader of the party or the leader of the opposition in the House.
In related news, AFD leader Honorable Tracy Panton has been very adamant about following the constitution of the UDP as she embarks on becoming the UDP's quote-unquote true leader. On Tuesday, she was asked about the legitimacy of naming Lee Mark Chang as candidate for Mesopotamia, with Moses Shine Barrow already serving in the post of standard bearer for that division. Panton affirmed that the party's constitution was followed and added that Chang would run as an independent candidate if needed.
We did not make this decision on our own. We met with the executive committee of MESOP, and we have met with the people of MESOP. But let me say this, because I don't want you to mince my words, Jules. All along, we have done everything we humanly can to ensure that we respect the constitution of the party, that we respect our colleagues, that we respect the opinions and the voices of the delegates, that we, as best as we can, follow the constituency guidelines and procedures for the United Democratic Party. And every step of the way, Shine has done the opposite. I make no apologies, and we make no apologies for putting a candidate against Shine. He is the problem. He is the person that is dismantling the democracy of this party, the democracy of this country, and he must go. When Lee Mark's candidacy was discussed, it was discussed with the executive committee of MESOP. We followed the constitutional process of the party to determine who the standard bearer for MESOP would be. 1. 2. Lee Mark will run independent if he must, but run.
Everybody, if I have to run independent, I will.
There will be 2 candidates running to be elected as the area representative for Mesopotamia and Belize City on behalf of the UDP. Moses Shine Barrow for his faction and Lee Mark Chang for Tracy Panton's faction. Which candidate will be represented by the color red on the ballot come general elections? Panton addressed these issues during a press conference to introduce Chang as Mesopotamia standard bearer. Panton revealed that a new application will be filed by the Alliance for Democracy to attempt to block Barrow from naming candidates on behalf of the UDP. Panton also shared that she believes neither side should be allowed to use the color red as long as the matter of the party's leadership remains undecided.
We announced today that a new case is now in the process of being filed in the Supreme Court for an order to be made by the court to prevent Shine from appointing candidates to run against duly elected and endorsed standard bearers of the United Democratic Party. We are asking the court to hear this case as a matter of urgency. If we are successful in securing an order from the court, it will mean that none of the candidates appointed by Shine to represent the UDP will be able to do so, save and except they run as independent candidates. If we are unable to get that order from the court, and since Shine continues to refuse to accept the will of the delegates of the United Democratic Party, and because the matter of leadership remains to be settled by the court, we have instructed our attorneys to write to the Election and Boundaries Commission, alerting them to the fact that the matter of leadership and control of the UDP is before the court and therefore sub judice. In this instance, we believe that it will not be prudent or even an interference of the court process that the commission will assign the traditional color of red to any of the disputing groups until a decision of the court is forthcoming.
Panton also said it doesn't matter which color is assigned to her group because UDP supporters know who is the real UDP.
I preface my comments this afternoon by saying that October 20th, 2024 was a defining moment in time for the United Democratic Party. On that date, we started a new era of the UDP and a new chapter for the party. It is not for Tracy Panton to decide who gets the color red. And we could solve this now. I invite Shine to meet me on a convention floor at the billboard with the 528 delegates of this party to make a determination who is the leader. And so whatever color may be assigned by the election and boundaries, the people of the United Democratic Party know, the supporters of the United Democratic Party know who is the real UDP. That's right.
The Moses Shine Barrow faction of the United Democratic Party will field Jose Espat as standard bearer in the Albert division. He will face off with incumbent Tracy Tager Panton and the PUP's Kaya Katus. In announcing his candidacy Tuesday, the UDP described Espat as a national anti-corruption and social justice activist with a long track record of, quote, fighting against corruption in government and for justice for families who have been victims of violence, end quote. Espat has for some time assisted families in searching for missing relatives believed to have been the victims of violence. After the announcement, Espat posted on his Facebook page that UNCAC is coming, like activist David Almendares, who also joined the UDP under the Barrow faction to run in Belize Rural Central. Espat has alluded to joining a political party being merely a means to an end and that a political banner does not define him. Belizean Senior Magistrate Deborah Rogers, who was assigned to the Orange Walk Magistrate Court, will be taking up the post of Chief Magistrate of March 21st this year. She will replace outgoing Chief Magistrate Jayani Wegadapola, who we are told decided to move on from the post after serving for about a year. Rogers has been serving in the magistracy since attaining her legal education certificate from Norman Manley Law School in Jamaica in 2014. After the break, Belize's sugar proving to be competitive in the CARICOM single market. Stay tuned.
Marlon Castillo Quality Meats. For the best in beef and pork. Check
Sugar produced by the BSI-ASR group has proven to be quite competitive on the CARICOM single market. Despite issues experienced by northern cane farmers, ASR Vice President of International Relations Mac McLachlan says that thanks to upgrades by the company, Belize's sugar products are highly sought after in both the CARICOM region and Europe.
Are very, very high up in the competition stakes because, of course, as you know, Cami, we invested heavily in added value Demerara sugar production here in BSI. We transformed this sugar mill from a raw sugar mill to a food grade sugar mill, and that has put us in a very good position to really supply the CARICOM market. Some of the other mills in the region are not doing so well, and their production is going down. They're still producing sugar, but maybe their production is falling off. And we're finding a natural home for our sugar, both in CARICOM and in Europe, and we will always go to where the best market opportunity lies.
Turning once more to political news, People's United Party leader John Briceño was asked today if campaign donors have been willing to assist his party for the upcoming elections. He answered in the affirmative, saying that their party has done well in government.
Any election costs money, and I think that Mr. Ashcroft said that tongue-in-cheek because we have not asked him for money and we're not asking for money. But our local financiers, they're helping us because we have been a good government. Our economy has grown tremendously. I think the last number, I think it was like over 20.5% up to 2023, 2024, not to the end of 2024. So we have tremendous growth, and all business people have benefited from the work that we have done. So I am hoping and expecting that they are going to provide some finances. It is expensive to run a campaign, despite the fact it doesn't matter about your position, but you have to put campaigners, you have to get t-shirts, you have so many things, the TV ads, all of these things that have to be done.
While to some it may seem like each faction of the UDP is more attuned to defeating the other versus tackling the PUP to potentially win the next general elections on Tuesday, AFD leader Honorable Tracy Panton said that the entire UDP has a feasible path to winning a majority of 16 seats. Panton said her faction would be willing to work with elected officials from Barrow's group. However, she is adamant that Barrow would not be one of those elected.
We believe we have a path to 16. Let us remember, Jules, the general election is general to general, mano to mano, and our candidates are on the ground and they're working, and we may get a couple candidates from Shine Snap who is likely to win, but I will tell you that Shine will not win. That's right. We will take over the leadership of this party after the next general elections.
So in how many of the constituencies do you plan to, as you adverted in the speech, do you plan to, or do you foresee having two candidates?
We have 31 candidates for the United Democratic Party.
Including Corazon North?
31 candidates for the United Democratic Party. Those representatives who were duly elected in a convention or who were formally endorsed by their constituencies to be the standard bearer. Whether they support my leadership or whether they support Shine, there are 31 of us. We must learn to respect differing views. You see, Shine rules or leads by fear and intimidation and bully tactics. On the other hand, we choose to respect our colleagues and respect the voices of the people. And however we make up that 16, we're going to make up that 16, but I can tell you that Shine Barrow will not be one of them.
When asked to comment on the optics of the infighting not shedding a positive light on the UDP, Panton admitted that the situation is messy, but she added that it was also necessary for democracy to prevail.
It's messy. and it's frustrating. It's frustrating for the public, it's so frustrating for our supporters, it's frustrating for me. But democracy is messy, and we have to be prepared to deal with the mess. You see, we cannot allow, it's too great a price to pay for injustice and for evil and for dictatorship to set in to the party. So we can't retreat. We must fight for our democracy, and we need to fight to ensure that the people, the power belongs in the hands of the people. That's right. You cannot rule by a couple shillings, and you cannot rule by fear. That is not the United Democratic way, and that is not the way of a true, robust, and functional democracy.
And the Central Bank of Belize intends to reveal the new banknotes featuring the images of national heroes George Price and Philip Golson Thursday afternoon. However, the notes will not enter circulation until the third quarter of this year. The new notes will have enhanced security features. Prime Minister John Briceño spoke of the new notes, which he has already seen.
We've seen them before, and so I know what to expect. It's a really beautiful note, and we've been using our two national heroes, George Price and Philip Golson, and we have them in different denominations. It's a more modern and with more features to prevent counterfeit in it. And so I think it's something that Belizeans are going to accept and to see, it's our people are on the note, and I know some people are saying, well, it doesn't have the Queen. Well, one, the Queen is dead, and that has nothing to do with whether the Belize dollar has its strength. Is based on our economy, based on the amount of U.S. reserves that we got. It's not the pound, what is the U.S. dollars.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.